The Toronto Rock play Game 2 of their NLL Division Series versus Rochester at the ACC on Saturday at 7 o'clock. Colin Doyle, longtime member of the Rock, joins Sportsnet tonight on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Now, Colin down 1-0 in the series. I mean, with all the experience you and the club have and the great year this has been, you guys got this. Am I right, huh?
I wish it were that easy. But, yeah, I don't know. We feel good about it. I mean, we felt like we left a little bit out on the table there on the weekend, and we kind of hung with them. But it's going to take our best to beat them. They're just, they're a terrific team. But, yeah, we believe. We believe we can do this. There's no questions asked. I think I was shocked with the group's moxie this weekend practice. We certainly weren't a group that was down in the ditches.
Oh, good, because I was going to ask. I mean, Rochester winning it with 37 seconds left. I mean, the loss didn't stay for a while. You were able to shake it off quickly?
It certainly stayed with me, till Sunday. The bus ride home seemed to be a long one. But, yeah, I mean, I didn't know what to expect back in practice on Tuesday. But, we went through some things, tried to iron out some of the kinks we had. And, everybody was pretty positive moving forward. We feel like we're every bit the team that they are. And, we've got to go out and prove that now. But at least there's a belief in that room that we can do this.
Well, good. And you should have that. It's been such a great year. Now, mentioned the word experience, and, well, you got a ton of that. You reached a personal milestone in game number 1. Now have 50 career playoff goals for the Rock. I mean, that's quite an accomplishment. Congratulations on that.
Well, thank you much. I mean, it goes to show you play any game long enough, I guess you're bound to hit some milestones.
Well, I think it's more than longevity for experiencing that, Colin. This division finals a best-of-2 series, and if anybody doesn't know, if the series is tied after 2 games, a mini-game is going to be held immediately after the conclusion of Game 2. Now, do you do anything different in preparing to play possible extra time?
Well, I would think from a coaching perspective, I think they've probably put some thought into it. But, from our perspective right now, we got to focus on getting those first 60. And, with the assumption if we can get that far, hopefully we have some momentum at home going into that 10-minute overtime. But yeah, I think, the coaches for sure have to have a little game plan, should things get to that point. And, I imagine they'll have a quick little turnaround to put that on us to make sure that we know what the game plan is going into that. But, I think their point of view and our point of view at this point is let's get that first 60 and let's let that momentum carry us into that 10-minute overtime. And hopefully we've done good things to that point, just continue to keep doing those. But yeah, it's certainly an interesting dynamic. It's hard to get your head around it. We've not played in one of these yet. So it'll be learn on the fly for us as well.
Have you ever done something like that in the past?
No, never. I mean, I watched it last year. We weren't, lucky enough to get that far, but I watched both the playoff series as the East and the West went to the final mini game, and so did the final game. So they were exciting as all get out, and it seemed to me the advantage certainly felt of the team that was at home in most of the circumstances. But we know that doesn't guarantee anything. But they were certainly made for exciting lacrosse, and the fans will be treated to a great 10 minutes if we can earn that.
Well, what do players say? Like, did you talk to anybody that's participated in games like that and kind of bent their ear a little bit and find out what they went through?
Yeah, I mean, the guys I talked to that went through it last year just said it's literally like chaos. The 10 minutes goes by so fast, and you seem like every possession is a must score and a must stop, depending on what end of the floor you're on. So the anxiety is through the roof, but they all said the same thing. When you get to that point, everybody's dog tired and you're able to dig and find a little bit extra. But it was interesting last year, Rochester got down 2 in the 10-minute overtime twice, both to Buffalo and I think to Calgary in the final, and they were able to overcome that.
Yeah.
And that's impressive to get 3 goals in a 10-minute stretch when you literally have to.
Oh, sure, absolutely. But I got a perfect recipe for that 10 minutes. What you do is you blow them out in the first 60. You get a ton of rest later on in the game, and then you're ready for that 10 minutes. It's very simple, Colin. Just do that.
You know what? I think that will be what I preach to the guys before the game. Let's just get a 12-goal lead and carry that. Let's get a 12-goal lead on a team we've struggled to score 10 goals against all year.
Perfect. All right.
And just put our feet up and coast into that extra, and we'll all have a little bit extra jam in our legs.
There we go. And you can attach my name to that piece of advice to the rest of the guys.
And
okay?
I promise you, if it gets to that point and that's how it goes, I'm coming back on this show, and we're going to do this all over again next week.
Good. All right, good. I look forward to that. I want to talk about your goaltenders. And first of all, why are all goaltenders from Orangeville? Why am I discovering that this year? We talked to Brandon Miller, Nick Rose, both from Orangeville. You got a goalie from Buffalo who's out from. Why is every goaltender out from Orangeville?
Well, that's a good question. I was starting to think for a long time, why is every lacrosse player in the world from Orangeville? But they've got they breed lacrosse players there, and it's hard to believe that their goalies are also every one of their teams growing up is so good too. You wouldn't think they had to stop any balls growing up, but yeah, they've got a series of winners there that can all stop the ball. I wish I had an answer for you on that one, but I'm glad we got two of them in our corner.
Well, even Miller and Rose don't have an answer for it, and I've asked both of them, and I've had them on the show, and they've raved about the partnership that they've got. It's really a nice 1-2 punch that you get to work in front of.
It is. I mean, it's turned out extremely well, and as we all know, those things always don't go to plan. But, I think they both kind of know their role, and I don't think those roles will stay the way they are forever. And I know as things go on, things will change. But for the time being, everybody seems very comfortable with where things are at. And, they don't put pressure on each other to have to go out and steal each other's jobs. They just kind of have each other's back when they need it. And, I mean, it served the team extremely well this year. And as a group, we feel confident should we have to go with either one of those two. We've got a real good chance at winning.
Yeah, so. As you should. I mean, they've split time quite nicely over the course of this year with Colin Doyle of the Toronto Rock on Sportsnet 590, The Fan. I'm Jeff Sammut. All right, Colin, so Rookie of the Year in 98, League MVP in 2005. I'm going to embarrass you for a second. Playoff MVP 3 times, a 2-time All-Star starter, multiple championships. If you look back on your career, what would you say has been the highlight to date?
Oh, man, that is a tough question. I know what the highlight would be. Should we have any success this week on and from there on out? But I all the championships are the greatest memories. I don't have one in particular. I always say the last championship I won was always the most exciting. But I just think having the opportunity to play on so many great teams with such great characters and great people. And, seeing the end result most of the time with great groups, you're rewarded with championships. And it's taught me a lot, and I've learned a lot. But, those are great memories, and I'll take them with me forever. And, I don't know how else to explain that. Right now, winning is far greater than any personal accomplishment that I had along the way. And I'll cherish those forever. I've got the rings to prove it and the friendships with people to take with me.
Colin, so you're from Kitchener. I've always wanted to ask you this. So with the Ontario Raiders then becoming the Toronto Rock and obviously having so much success, but going to San Jose for 3 years and coming back and being with the Toronto Rock since then, what's it been like the second go around with the Toronto Rock? Because the first time around, you're from here, you're playing here. I don't think you'd notice a difference because you hadn't had that. And then you have it when you're in San Jose and then you come back. What kind of perspective did you get in returning to the Toronto Rock and playing here since 2009 in your second stint?
Well, I think you just like you said there, you get the impression of how lucky it is. You have it to play here, and I never took it for granted. That's for sure. I never took playing in Toronto for granted. But when you're gone for 3 years and you start adding all that travel up and the inability to practice as a group consistently and all those other things, you sit here and say, wow, this is a good thing we've got in Toronto. And in the start of my career, I was able to play for a great ownership group, and then, of course, when Jamie Dawick bought the team, I was able to play for another. And yeah, I guess you don't take those things for granted. And that being said, I played for a great ownership group in San Jose, and I really enjoyed my time. And I think I came back a different player. I was ready to take more of a leadership role on, and I think those 3 years in San Jose kind of allowed me to grow and change into that. So, two great experiences, no doubt about it. But two drastically different experiences. I left as the young guy, and I came back as kind of the elder statesman. And the in-between years were in San Jose, where I was able to learn and kind of transfer all that. So 3 great stages in my career, but the luxury of playing in Toronto is rewarding very much.
Well, it's add to the luxury and the success as being a member of the Toronto Rock, taking on Rochester Game 2 of their NLL Division Series at the ACC. Saturday at 7 o'clock. Colin Doyle of the Rock. Let's tie this thing up and win it. Good luck, and thanks for joining us, Colin.
Thanks a million for having me, and I appreciate all the kind words. And I look forward, hopefully, to speaking to you again next week.